Boom. Got x equals 13. That is 100% the right answer for x. The question is, what is p? So you got to make sure you put that 13 into here and substitute. So angle P, and I could say the measure of angle P, equals, was it 126? Yeah. So make sure you're answering the question being asked. Okay, we're going to do all this beautiful algebra, get all of that work done, and then it's not going to be the right answer because we didn't answer the right question. Problem number 2. B was the runaway answer. Why is B the correct answer? What's your thought process there? So C is definitely tempting because of those corresponding angles, right? So those corresponding angles prove A and C parallel for sure. What proves, or AC and AB parallel is what it proves. AB is parallel to CD, right? These guys are parallel. So what information do you have on CD though? How can I prove AC is parallel to BD? AC is parallel to BD. How can I prove that? Yeah, there's nothing on this, so I can't prove AC is parallel to BD. I gotta move some stuff around so I can see my chat. There we go. Yeah. So if there's no numbers on AC, this one can't work. Similarly, if there's no numbers on AB, this one can't work. And if there's no numbers on AB, this one can't work. That's the first thing you should look at. If there's no information on one of those line segments, then you can't prove it. Here, right, these are alternate interior. It makes the Z. So this red line proves AC is parallel to BD. AC is parallel to BD. Because of these alternate interior angles, these are the parallel lines. And then CD is the transversal. And if I come over here, I can look at the 125 and this 55. They are same side interior, so AB is parallel to CD. So AB is parallel to CD and AC is parallel to BD. Sounds so crazy when you look at it like that. These are tough, right? Use your kind of strategies of elimination. Elimination is one of the things that geometry is trying to teach you as like a life skill. Okay, especially as we've got all of this, online searches. You search for something on Google and you get 10 million hits. How do you know what to look at? Right? You got to eliminate all the garbage, and then what you're left with is what you want to look at. It's kind of how I see this as like a real world application. Are you ever going to have to do this in the real world with numbers and alternate interior angles and stuff? Probably not. But it is a good way to sift out useless information and kind of hone in on what's important. Question number 3 is almost exactly what we had yesterday. The wording is just a little tiny bit different. So X is the midpoint of WY. W is negative 10, 4. So W is negative 10, 4. I think that's exactly what we had yesterday. And then Y was different, negative 5, 11. So negative 5, and that's off my chart, 11 is Y. And it says X is the midpoint. So somewhere in here, there's going to be an X. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but it's the midpoint, right? It's going to be somewhere right in there. So it's going to be a negative and a positive because it's in quadrant 2. And you want to add them up and divide by 2. So negative 10 plus negative 5 divided by 2. And then 4 plus 11 divided by 2. That's going to be our ordered pair. So negative 10 and negative 5 is negative 15. Divided by 2 is negative 7.5. And then 4 plus 11 divided by 2 is 7.5. I love that I saw so many people graph it and then estimate. The only problem with this one is we get decimals. And if you estimate, you're tempted to get whole numbers. Okay. What was the first thing you did in this question? Because everybody who did it got it right. I'm just curious how you started. What did you find first? Because there's like 6 different ways you can start this problem. Absolutely. So if you add 26 and 85, and then do what? What's the next part? Minus the sum from 180. So angle A was 69 degrees. Excellent. How does that help me find angle D? They are congruent. So if these lines are parallel, I can make that Z that we talked about in the last problem or 2 problems ago. If I've got that Z, then the 69 in A is also the 69 in D. Boom. And then the very last problem. What was the answer? B. This acute angle is congruent to this acute angle, so that's 30 and 30. And then these are supplementary, so that's 150. Okay. Sometimes easy problems come at the end. Don't let yourself get lost in those. Okay. Questions on any of those? All right. How about from the homework last night? How was the homework last night? I know there's some tough problems in there. Go into yesterday's folder, 15th, not the 16th, and open up that homework. So this quiz is what I want you to open up. I'm just going to take it over here out of sight for a second. Open it. Lots of people did very fantastic on this. There was just a couple of questions. Come on now. There we go. That I wanted to talk about. So jump in if you have other questions that you would rather talk about. I have 5 on my list. So the first one is question number 3. E is the midpoint of BD. So if I sketch that before I even look at the answer choices, E is the midpoint of BD. What I know is that BE and ED are congruent. That's the definition of a midpoint. So that's what I'm going to look for. We can definitely look at question 10. That is on my list. So if I look at this, B and D are endpoints and E is in the middle. There should be a dot right there, but that is definitely the best answer. Right? Question number 8 was the next one I had. Dun, dun, dun. What else can I mark in this picture? What else can I mark in this picture? I've got an angle. And I've got an angle. What else can I mark? The middle. Yeah, this middle side right here. So this side is part of the left triangle and is part of the right triangle. So that's a side. This side connects 2 angles. So I've got an angle and a side connecting another angle, right? If I take it out of the picture and draw it over here, I've got an angle, a side, and another angle. So I have to use it in that order. Angle, side, angle. This answer is the most tempting wrong answer. This is not correct. It's still got 2 angles and a side, but this picture would be an angle and the side that doesn't connect them. We can. So if I come down to number 9, find the length of each segment and give the name of the triangle by its side lengths. So if B is 0, 0, and A is 2, 4, I need to find the distance here. So you can do that 2 ways. You can make this right triangle. Sorry, my lines are not very good. The height or the width is 2 and the height is 4. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 2 squared plus 4 squared. 2 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. So I do 2 squared, which is 16. No, it is not 16. 4 squared is 16, and 2 squared is 4. That equals c squared. And then I take the square root of both sides, and c equals the square root of 20, whatever that decimal is. Or you can use these ordered pairs and do x plus x. So 2 plus 0 squared plus y, so 4 plus 0, 4 plus 0 squared, and take the square root. So this is that face, right? I've got the square root, I've got x plus x squared, and y plus y squared. If you do this, you end up still with 4 and 16, and then the square root is still square root of 20. So this side is the square root of 20. Again, whatever that decimal is. This side is also the square root of 20. Wait. What is it? Okay, and it says round to the nearest tenth. So what is it rounded to the nearest tenth? Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. So I've got A, B. That's this side. I've got AC, that's this side. Now I need the bottom. How long is the bottom? I can just count those because it's straight. If I'm walking across this line and not going off-road, then I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4. So BC is 4. So what kind of triangle is this? Yeah, absolutely. So you can either use Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or you can do the distance formula, x minus x squared plus y minus y squared. These should be minuses. I did that wrong. Okay, so distance formula and Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so we've done 3 and we've done 8 and we've done 9. Somebody asked for 2, so let's go back up to 2. 3, 2. Okay, so here you're going to look at your, and we'll definitely go to the last 2 questions. So here you've got a key right here. Use this key. If I want to know angle T, because that's my X, T goes with what? G. So we set those equal to each other because the symbol right here has an equal sign in it. These 2 triangles are congruent. That's what this equal sign means. So 4x minus 3 equals 45. Similarly, if we're trying to find y is angle B. What does B go with? M, absolutely. So we're going to set B and M equal to each other. The problem is I don't know what M is. So how can I find M? So T equals 45, right? Because my equation right here. So then if I know 45 and 41, can I find M? Absolutely. So what is M if I do 180 minus 45 minus 41? What's that number in degrees? 94. So now I can set up my other equation. 11y plus 6 equals 94. Okay. What we're doing here is using triangles to help you figure out how to use information you have to find information you need. Again, this is not something you're ever going to have to do in real life, probably. unless you become some kind of contractor, but then it's not going to have arbitrary, algebra expressions in it. This is very contrived. Say it again. You said isosceles, right? What kind of triangle is it? It's an isosceles triangle. So I think you want to write isosceles there. That's my next one. You read my mind. On the name, isosceles. Yep. All right. Number 10, you're going to have to use something twice. And depending on when you opened this, you might have more choices. I actually eliminated several choices because somebody asked me about it, and I was like, oh, you know what? This is crazy. Let's make this a little easier. So you don't have literally given stuff. Oh, thank you. You don't literally have given things in words over here. You have given things in the picture. So L is congruent to Q. Angle L is congruent to angle Q. That's given, right? That's marked in the picture. And then this says angle LNM. So this isn't triangle, it's an angle. So we're naming it with 3 letters because there's 2 angle N's here. And I need to make sure that I know the difference. So this is the angle N at the top, and this is angle N at the bottom, right? What's the relationship between those 2 angles that have been filled in? They are vertical. And right here it says vertical angles, right? So I can mark those angles because they are vertical. So now I have angle M and angle P. So now I'm talking about angle M and angle P. They're not marked. I don't know that anything is parallel. So why do I know that those angles are congruent for my choices over there? It's not given to me because it's not marked. They're not vertical angles. They're not sides. So it must be third angle theorem. If I know 2 angles of any triangle, I can calculate the third angle. So if these 2 things are congruent to these 2 things, then the last part must also be congruent because I know all 3 sets need to add up to 180. I don't actually know the numbers, but they have to equal 180, right? So now I've got LM and QP, LM and QP, and LN and QN. So that's a side, and MN and PN, and that's another side. So of my choices, what does number 4 have to be? And this one's a little tough. They're all marked, right? So that's also given because they're all marked. And then this last one, the reason those 2 triangles are congruent is side, side, side. It's questions like this that make people hate proofs. I get it. If I didn't have to ask it to you this way, I would not. Question 11 looked good. We pretty much did that yesterday. Question 12. I thought we were going to have to talk about question 12, but 12 looked good. Do we need to talk about 12? No? Okay. Make a fraction is basically what I would do. So 18 divided by 21, find the decimal, and then do the same thing for the rest of them. We'll see more questions like that later today. What about 13? 13 was definitely on my list. How do we start 13? What can I eliminate from my answer choices just because of what's in the picture? What can I eliminate? If I know this has vertical angles, there's only one thing it could possibly be, along with not similar. If the numbers don't work out, it's going to be not similar. What's the only other choice I have? Side, 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 or side, angle, side? If I've got that vertical angle. So I've got a side here with 24. I've got an angle here with the vertical angle, and I've got a side here with the 20. This is either going to be side, 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 or not similar, right? I don't have a third side, and I don't have a second angle. So this is what we were doing yesterday. How do I set up this proportion? Because when it says similar, I definitely need a proportion. Where do I want to start? Do I want to use the 20 and the 24 or the 42 and the 36? We just have to choose. Okay, I'm going to start with the 24 and the 20. 24 and 20, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I did it yesterday. So I started with the bigger number and the smaller number. So this is the small triangle, but this is the big side and the small side. So then if I come down here to the big triangle, I need to put the big side with the big side. So 42 is bigger than 36. So 42 has to go here. And 36 is the smaller one, so it has to go here. So now you've got a couple of choices. You can multiply across the diagonal and compare the two numbers, or you can divide and get decimals. Okay. Yesterday we divided to get decimals. So let's do both ways and see how they work out. You get to choose which one you like better. So everybody pick up a calculator. If you haven't picked up a calculator or turned on a calculator app, do it now. 24 divided by 42. 24 divided by 42 gives you 0.57. And then do 20 divided by 36. 20 divided by 36. That's 0.55 repeating. Are those the same? They're not. So these are not similar. Your other option, because some people like to cross multiply, is to multiply across the diagonals. If I multiply 24 times 36, 24 times 36, I get 864. Okay, all I did was multiply across that diagonal and then bring it down. And then 20 times 42, 20 times 42 is going to be 840. Some people like to multiply. You can always cross multiply and compare these two numbers, or you can divide and compare these two numbers. It just depends on whether you like big numbers or decimals. Okay? But they are definitely not similar because these numbers are not equal. Questions? I know a lot of people are probably still confused. All right. Question number 14 gives you the most information, and that's what makes it the most complicated. It's not the hardest problem, it's just complicated because you got a lot of information to look at. Okay? If you are given a triangle with angles, always, always, always find that missing angle. If you are given a triangle with angles, always, always, always find that missing angle. I can't say that enough times. What is R? What's the measure of R? Everybody should have their calculator out. Do what you know you need to do. Find the measure of R. And then you can put it in the chat or call it out. What's R? $34. Absolutely. And what's the measure of C? $79. Do I even need to look at the sides? No. All I need to know is that 2 of the angles are congruent, and I know that 3 of the angles are congruent. So this is angle, angle. If you go look at the sides, you will notice that you don't have a pair of sides. So RL goes between the 34 and the 79. RL goes between the 34 and the 79, and so does NC. So these two sides go together. If I try to make a proportion, I can do 30 and 45. They go together, right? But then I've got this 18. 18 goes with, I don't know what. So 18 and X. I can't use that because I don't know what it is, right? And then I've got this 48, and I don't have any information there either. So Y and 48. Now I could use these sides to figure out what that missing side was, but that's not what the question's asking. The question is asking, why are they similar? So they're similar because of angle, angle. Because we don't have enough information with the sides. We can't use those. Does it make sense? Kind of, sort of, maybe? Okay. Hopefully everybody was able to complete or improve their score on that. We've got one more thing to do, and then I'm going to let you go just practice on problems. So if you go into today's folder, there's a sorting activity that I think will be super helpful. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to work on it. I can put you in breakout rooms if you want, or you can do it on your own. Doesn't matter to me. But I need you to click on this sort link. It'll take you to here. I'll put it in the chat. Maybe. Boom. Oh, I probably need to change the share settings. Do you want to do these by yourself, or do you want to go into breakout rooms and work on them together? What do we want to do? I'm not seeing a lot of chats, so independent. All right. So let me continue to share my screen for a minute to show you what I want you to do. Okay. You're going to identify what's given in each picture. So I just want you to look at the picture. Then you're going to sort it into either side, angle side, or angle columns. Don't put anything in the last column where it says not similar. So you're going to take these and you're just going to sort them into one of these first three columns. Okay. Once they're all in one of those first three columns, I want you to start with angle, angle. If they really are angle, angle, and you have enough information, leave them there. And if it's impossible to tell whether they belong there or not, send them over to not similar. Then you're going to go to side, angle, side and do the same thing, and then side, side, side. Remember that your sides have to be proportional. You got to be able to set them up in a proportion and have either the decimals equal each other or the big numbers across the diagonals equal each other. And all your angles must be congruent. If you have any angles that are not congruent, you can't put it in angle, angle. Okay? So like this one right here, all I'm given is angles. So it has to go here. This one, all I'm given is sides. So it has to go here. Right? So all you're going to do is sort these tiles first and then go back and say, oh, can this stay in angle, angle, or does it need to go over to not similar? Can this stay in side, 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 or does it need to go over into not similar? I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, okay? We absolutely sense of it. So I sorted mine. Take a minute to compare mine to yours. There is one under here. So there should be 5 in side, angle, side. All of these side, side, sides are pretty self-explanatory, right? All the angles are pretty easy, except this one, this last red one. With these parallel lines, you've got alternate interior angles. So these lines right here, those arrows on the sides, those are going to show you angles, right? This yellow one right here, and I know there's a couple of yellow ones, because of this angle E, you've got a baby triangle sitting on top of a big triangle. This could go either inside, side, side, or side, angle, side. So this one can kind of go either way. And then you've got this one down here, right? So this is side, angle, side because of the vertical angles. And then you've got side, angle, side because of the reflexive angles. And side, angle, side because of the vertical angles, and side, angle, side because of the vertical angles. And then all we have marked over in these guys is angle, angle. So 2 of these need to stay and 1 of them needs to move. Which one needs to move? The purple, the pink, or the red? Which one needs to move? I lost my chat. So here I've got 52 and 50. Are those congruent? Because remember, angles have to be congruent. 52 and 50. They're not congruent, so this one is not similar. These guys, I've got vertical angles here. So I've got vertical angles and a second pair that's marked. So that's 2 angles that I'm checking off, right? And then with this one, you get a pen to mark it. If you do that Z, that's the alternate interior angle Z. So angle T is congruent to angle D. And then if I go the other direction, angle C is congruent to angle S. Angle C is congruent to angle S. So here I also have angle, angle. These 2 both work. Okay. Now we've got to get into some actual math. So if I know 8, 14, 56, and 32, what proportion can I set up here in order to prove that these 2 triangles are congruent or similar? I want to start with my smallest triangle. So 8 over 14. 8 over 14 equals, if I start small and end up big, I need to start small and end up big. 32 over 56. Okay, I also could have done 8 next to 14 and 32 next to 56. So I've got my small triangle together, either side by side or top and bottom, and I've got my big triangle side by side or top and bottom. The small sides together and the big sides together, the small sides together and the big sides together. The crazy thing is, it doesn't matter which way I do it, I'm still going to do 8 times 56 and 14 times 32. Do those 2 math problems work out? 8 times 56 and 14 times 32? Are they the same number? $448 and $448. This one gets to stay. We're going to do the same thing here. What proportion can I set up with this light blue one? Do I want to start with the big triangle or small triangle? Okay, guys, this is like a come to Jesus moment, okay? If you're not talking and you're not writing and you don't have your calculator out and you're confused, I can't help. Well, let's start with this blue one first. I see somebody says small, so let's start small. So if I start with those small numbers, we can put them side by side or top and bottom. I'm going to put them side by side, 34 and 70. If I do 34 and 70, that's just where I start. I could have started with the other one. It doesn't matter. You just have to choose some place to start. Overcome inertia, right? What goes with the 34? 42, absolutely. And what goes with the 70? 84. When I cross multiply, do I get the same number? 34 times 84 and 42 times 70. Are they the same? Yes or no? They are not. You are correct. So this one can't stay. It has to move over here. The only thing this could be is side angle side. Because it's not side, angle, side, those sides are not proportional, it's not similar. So now let's talk about this little green one. What do I want to start with? The 33 and the 36 or the 55 and the 60? There's no right or wrong answer, we just have to decide. I heard 33 and 36, so let's start there. 33 and 36. You just pick a triangle and start there. This one is the harder one because you can either use the 55 with the 33 or you can add them up and do the whole thing. So with these triangles that sit on top of each other, you can either do 33 over 55 or you can do 33 over 88. It is your choice. Okay? I tend to do the extra work, even though I'm kind of a lazy person. I don't always do more work than I need to. I get better results when I add them up. I make fewer mistakes, believe it or not. So 33 over 88, and then I'm going to add them up over here too. 60 plus 36 is 96. So if you imagine a big triangle sitting on top of a small triangle, that's what I've done. 33 and 36, that's the small triangle. And then 33 plus 55 is the big triangle, and 36 plus 60 is the big triangle. So that's 96. If I do that cross multiplication, they come out the same. So I get to keep it here. Okay. So that one's going to stay. What about this pink one? Going to do the same thing. Start with that small triangle. 7 next to 11. What's the 7 go with? The 21 or the 33? Because 21 is the smallest, absolutely. Okay, so then we cross multiply. 7 times 33 and 21 times 11. 7 times 33 and 21 times 11. Do they come out the same? They do. So that one gets to stay. Love it when a plan comes together. So now let's look at this one. Depending on what you do, this could go either way because angle E is an angle, right? That's my reflexive angle. I could do side, angle, side, just like we did this green one up here. Or this one could bridge us into the side, side, side because I do have a third set of sides here. So would we rather do side, 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 or would we rather do side, angle, side? And we just have to make a choice. Anybody have an opinion? Let's do side, angle, side. I think that's less work. That would be what I would choose. So if I've got this small triangle, 10 and 7, I'm going to do 7 next to 10. And then I've got this bigger triangle, G, E, F. What's the total over here between G and E? That's 10 plus 40, which is 50. And over here, this whole side is 36. And it's questions like this that make me add that whole piece up when I do questions like this one. Okay, you're given this whole piece, so you have to use the whole piece over here. And that's the hardest one. So then 7 times 50 and 36 times 10. 36 times 10 is 360. And 7 times 50 is 350. Do those match? They do not. So what do I have to do with this yellow one? Not similar. Is it starting to come together a little bit? These are definitely the hardest things to do. And if you can commit to sorting them and eliminating what they cannot be, and then just deciding whether they work or not, I think that's the easiest way to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's just some work. You got to commit to the work. I 100% agree. So here with these, organize them small, medium, large, right? Can I write over here? Small, medium, large. So I always start with my smaller triangle. 45 is the smallest side. 55 is the medium side. and 70 is the large side. Okay, this is where I don't cross multiply. I find the decimals because there's 3 of them. It's easier to do the division on the side, and do the multiplication when you have side, angle, side. So if I come over here to this big triangle, what's my smallest number? And then the medium number and the large number. Here, all I'm going to do is divide down and get the decimal. It's easier than doing the proportion because I'd have to cross multiply 4 times. It's less work to do 3 division problems than 4 multiplication problems. So 45 divided by 63 gives me what as a decimal? Did anybody get 0.71? Awesome. And then 55 divided by 77 gives me same thing. And 70 divided by 98 also gives me the same thing. So this one gets to stay. It's side, side, side. We started with all its small triangle sides and put all the big triangle sides underneath. We organize them small side, medium side, large side. And then we just find the decimal and make sure they're the same. So you take a minute and check this green one. How would you organize it? If you start with that small triangle and put it in order, small, medium, large. Hopefully everybody's doing this on a piece of paper. And then come over to the big triangle, small, medium, large. And then divide. I can, absolutely. Yep. It's 143. It's hard to read. Right here, 143. 78. Oh, up here, 98 is this number. And 70. Casey says the triangle stays. Do we agree? The green triangle, does it stay? I agree, yeah. So let's do one more. We won't do both of these, but let's do one more just to make sure everybody's in the right spot. Because I think one of these 2 stays and the other one goes. So choose one. I don't care which one you choose. Let's figure out if the orange one stays or the blue one stays. Again, just make sure you organize it small, medium, large. So which one stays and which one goes? One of them is similar and one of them is not similar. Anybody got an idea? Which one stays, which one goes? The blue one stays and the orange one goes?
No,
I agree. So I got 0.166 repeating for the blue one. This one stays. And this one, I think the last fraction was messed up. So this one goes. Okay. Again, guys, in a normal circumstance, you would have had like 3 weeks to absorb this set of 2 units smushed together. We've had like 6 days divided by spring break. If you're confused, you're in good company. Lots of people are confused. Okay. Our goal is to try to get you unconfused by Tuesday. Okay. So the last 15 minutes or so of class, you've got some options. You can go into IXL. So all of your homework assignments or all of your assignments are over here on the right side. You should have already done the J and K skills to 500%. You should have already done A1 to 80%. If you're still confused about similar, the best way to get unconfused are these P skills. There are a ton of them. If you get them up to 300, I think that's going to be enough practice. Okay, you can pick and choose, just like always, which P skills you want to do. Don't get frustrated. Just go to the next P skill and maybe that one will be easier for you. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2 is to start in on practice quiz. Okay, so there's a 19 question practice test in today's folder, and it's linked right here. This one is a lot bigger. It's like 28 questions. This is Monday's assignment. How many of you guys are taking the PSAT on Monday? Most of you? Okay. So Monday is the PSAT. If you do not get to this on Monday, I will understand. However, the test is still going to be on Tuesday. So you want to work on this. So let me show you what I've put in to help with this 19 questions from today and the 20 questions for Monday. There are videos. Okay. So under today, I'm going to open it up right now so you have access to it. This is a 19 question practice test. This is going to give you a really good idea of what is on the test on Tuesday. And there's a video that explains every single question. If you go to Monday's day, you've got this, and I know it's big, it's 28 questions, but on the 19th, you've got this study guide, but you also have a YouTube video here that explains every single question. So if you start it and you get frustrated, go look at the video, okay? I'm really not interested in getting the right answers. I'm interested in knowing how to get the right answers, okay? There's no reason to not get this done, but you do need to know how to do it. So when you get to the test on Tuesday, you know what you're doing. I will have office hours on Monday. Please come if you're confused. We can talk about any of these practice tests, anything you want to talk about. All right? I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the quiz from yesterday and I will unsubmit your worst attempt. So if you need a third attempt, you'll have it for yesterday's quiz. Okay? I know I'm giving you a lot, and this unit is personally my least favorite. And I think it's super frustrating and super useless. So I'm trying to give you all the grace I can possibly give you to start Q3 with a good grade. All right? Okay. With that being said, you have about 10 minutes left in class. That's a little bit less than I had hoped.